Night falls not as silence, but as a test. A child's cry fractures the rhythm of cicadas echoing against the savanna's ribs of stone and grass. In this world, 3.9 million years ago, infancy is not softness, but peril. No cribs, no blankets, no warm milk waiting at arm's reach. Here a newborn is as fragile as a fallen bird, and yet somehow must become the beating core of survival. How did our earliest ancestors shield their infants from the teeth of predators, from the fire of storms, from hunger and disease, and what echoes of those choices still live in modern childcare today? A young female Australopithecine cradles a newborn against her chest, the infant's face pressed into the tangled mat of her fur. Her breath is shallow, the child's even more so, and every sound in the night is a question hyena laughter rolling low over the hills, the rustle of a snake passing unseen through the grass. She shifts not for comfort, but for concealment, using the bulk of an older sister's body as a shield crouching lower into the roots of a fallen fig tree. The air smells of damp earth and danger. Raising a child here is not only nurture, it is strategy, vigilance, sacrifice. By dawn the tribe moves. Infants cling belly to belly, their small hands knotting into fur, their cries muted by the rhythmic sway of their mothers. The group's survival depends on silence. Every wail risks drawing predators closer. Mothers trade glances, the silent pact of caretakers written in their eyes. No one raises a child alone. The matriarch leads her chest scarred from old battles, her arms carrying a bundle of dried leaves used to soothe fever. Behind her, a younger male drags a branch, sweeping away footprints to hide the tribe's path. Infancy here is a collective burden, the weight of tomorrow carried by every back and every hand. The sun rises harsh and unrelenting. Shade is scarce, water scarcer still. At a shallow stream, mothers kneel dipping handfuls of muddy water into the mouths of their infants, careful not to let the choking silt flood their throats. The act is both nourishment and risk, for crocodiles patrol the shallows. One mother stiffens her shoulders, tightening as a ripple disturbs the surface. She pulls back, clutching her infant tighter, retreating into the circle of the group. Another steps forward, scanning the water with a stick, daring the reptile to break its cover. These are not moments of choice. They are instinct sharpened into ritual. The survival of infants is the survival of the species. As the day stretches on mothers forage for tubers and seeds, balancing the needs of their bodies with the constant demand of their infants' mouths. Milk runs thin in drought. A mother chews roots into pulp, softening them with saliva, before pressing them into her infant's lips. The child's face wrinkles at the bitterness, but swallows learning, adapting, enduring. This is childcare without toys or lullabies, where every gesture is weighed against the margin of survival. And yet even here, tenderness survives. At dusk, as the group settles beneath the arch of a limestone overhang, one infant reaches out with tiny fingers, brushing the face of an elder. The old female, blind in one eye, leans closer, allowing the touch. Around them the group curls into a protective crescent, bodies pressed together, not just for warmth, but for unity. In that fragile circle lies the blueprint of modern caregiving safety, through closeness, survival through care shared across many hands. The night hums again, filled with threats, but within that circle, a fire older than flame burns the will to raise the next generation against impossible odds. The horizon burns orange as another day begins, but survival offers no pause. The infants stir, first squirming against their mothers' chests, their small lungs pulling in the scent of dust and damp earth. Hunger arrives before light. The tribe moves again, and every step is dictated by the weight of the children they carry. They are both anchor and compass, the slowest members of the group, yet the most essential reason to keep moving. Unlike predators who abandon their weakest, these early humans cannot afford such a cost. To leave an infant behind is to sever the future itself. The matriarch guides them toward a grove of acacia trees, where the soil hides edible bulbs and roots. The adults dig with sharp stones, their hands blistered but steady, while the infants whimper at the sudden stillness. Danger presses close in the silence. A leopard prowls the tree line, its eyes fixed on the weakest prey. The mothers respond not with panic, but with choreography. They cluster together, infants hidden in the center of the huddle. The strongest males spreading wide posturing, pounding the ground to warn the predator away. For a long moment, the savanna holds its breath. Then, as the leopard slinks back into shadow, relief passes like a wave through the group. The infants have no words yet. Their survival depends on this silent ballet of protection. By midday, heat rises in waves. The tribe finds sparse shade, and the smallest children cry in discomfort. One mother dips her hand into a hollow stone where rainwater lingers, rubbing the cool liquid across her infant's skin. Another mother, exhausted, passes her child to a younger female with no offspring of her own. This act shared care, a distribution of burden, is more than survival. It is the seed of something far greater, the human instinct for communal parenting. Today, childcare centers trade one caretaker for another, teachers and workers watching over dozens of children at once. But the roots of that system reach back here to a moment when survival demanded that care be spread among many. As the group rests, the older children, barely steady on their legs, play at the edge of the circle. They mimic the adults, tearing grass, beating small stones together, copying motions without knowing their meaning. Learning is not taught, it is absorbed. Each gesture of survival, from the grip on a root to the swing of a stick, becomes part of their young minds. Modern childcare teaches through structured lessons, through play, designed to nurture cognitive growth. But here, play itself is instruction, and the stakes are measured in survival rather than grades. Late in the afternoon, the sky darkens. Storm clouds gather, and with them the first rumbles of thunder. Mothers tighten their holds, pressing infants closer, while the group searches for higher ground. Rain brings danger, flash floods, sickness, exposure. A hollow in the hillside offers shelter, its mouth wide and black, smelling of damp stone. The tribe hesitates, scanning for snakes or lurking predators, but the urgency of infants' cries pushes them forward. They move inside, huddling in a rough semicircle, bodies pressed together. Thunder cracks overhead, startling the infants into wails. For predators, outside those cries are signals. For the group, they are both weight and warning. The mothers rock gently, their movements ancient and instinctual, soothing, with rhythm rather than words. The cave amplifies their sound, echoing a lullaby of survival into the storm. The storm does not relent. Rain lashes the cave mouth, and the smell of wet fur and damp stone thickens the air. The infants, restless and hungry, stir in waves of whimpers that ripple through the group. Every cry is dangerous. It draws attention, even muffled by the storm. The mothers exchange glances, a language of urgency. One chews strips of fibrous bark into a wet mash, pressing it between her infant's lips. Another mother leans over to help soothe her hands, steady despite exhaustion. Survival is a collective effort, and childcare here is not about individuality. It is a binding force that ties the tribe together. Outside, lightning splits the horizon. In the brief flashes, shadows move. Hyenas circle, drawn by the scent of vulnerability. The males at the cave mouth pound the earth with branches, throwing stones into the darkness. The infants, sensing tension, cry louder, their voices shrill against the storm. The mothers pull them tighter, forming a living barricade with their bodies' fur bristling muscles taut. For long minutes, predator and prey hang suspended in a contest of will. The storm becomes ally and enemy its roar conceals, but also confines. Finally, the hyenas drift away, frustrated, and the group breathes again. The infants, still wailing, are soothed by the rhythmic heartbeat of those who carry them. By dawn, the storm has passed. The air is clean, the grass jeweled with droplets. But the tribe is weary, their bodies drained. The infants cling with surprising strength, their survival testimony to resilience far older than language. The group descends toward the valley, where game trails crisscross and fruit trees dot the landscape. Foraging resumes immediately, for hunger waits for no reprieve. Mothers balance gathering, with nursing their attention split but unbroken. Modern parents juggle jobs and childcare, a different balance, but born from the same weight. Survival demands that food and care coexist, even when one undermines the other. At midday, a crisis unfolds. One infant, feverish from the cold night, struggles to nurse. The mother rocks him, panic written in her eyes. An elder female approaches, carrying a bundle of leaves, known for their bitterness. She chews them into pulp, mixing saliva and plant juices, and gently feeds the child. Hours pass, and the fever subsides. The act is not only medicine, but memory knowledge passed down through generations, woven into survival itself. Today, modern medicine and childcare clinics serve this role, but their foundations are etched into the instincts of ancestors who experimented with roots and leaves, guided by desperation and hope. As shadows lengthen, the infants sleep again, their faces soft, despite the hardships of the day. Around them, adults form a loose ring, their eyes scanning the land, never truly at rest. The future lies cradled in the smallest arms, and so every member of the group becomes protector, provider, and teacher. Raising children here is not only about nurturing, it is about holding the line against extinction. The savanna exhales with the setting sun, and once again the rhythm begins: gather, protect, soothe, endure. The pattern is timeless, the stakes eternal.